Hi, it's Mrs. LP here, and today we are learning to simplify ratios when there is a decimal in the problem. So the reason that that you are asked to do this clinic is because in the test you had a question. For dinner one night, the cook served 22.5 kg of mince and 30 kg of sausages, and write the ratio of mince to sausages in its simplest form. And that was something that you kind of had a little bit of problem with. So we are going to go through some similar questions today and show you how to do these. Now, what we think you already know about ratios is what a ratio is. So 2 to 4, 3 to 6, and how to simplify some basic ratios. So, for example, to simplify 12 over 14, you know that both of these could be divided by 2 to make the numbers smaller. So 12 to 14 is the same as 6 to 7. You divided that by 2 to make 6 and that by 2 to make 7. So you know basically how to simplify a ratio like that when it involves whole numbers. Now we're going to try them with decimal numbers. So the first question we're going to look at. Ada weighs 45.5 kilos and Tyler weighs 64.5 kilos. What is the simplest form of Ada's weight to Tyler's weight? So let's have a look. 45.5 is Ada and Tyler weighs 64.5. That is the ratio we're working with. So what do we do first? Well, we want to simplify it, but before we simplify it, we need to get rid of the decimals. And the easiest way to do that, I mean, you could be looking at other ways, but the most simple, straightforward, one-step way is basically to multiply it by either 10 or 100 or 1,000, depending on how many decimal places there are. So as you can see, the smallest column you have here is the 10th, which means that to get rid of that, all we have to do is multiply by 10. So 45.5 times 10 is 455. And 64.5 times 10 is 645. So these two are the same ratio, basically. Now, how do we simplify that? It's pretty simple. Just like with the other numbers, you're just going to divide by numbers until you get to the smallest that you can. Okay, so I'm looking at this and I can see that they all end in 5. So I know it's going to be divisible by 5. So 455 divided by 5 is 91. And 645 divided by 5. So there's going to be a 9 somewhere. And 600 divided by 5 is 120. So 91 to 129 is the smallest that I can make these numbers. Is there a number that both of these can be divided by? I'm having a think and I can't think of anything. So that means the most simple form of 45.5 to 64.5 is 91 to 129. Okay. Let's have a look at another one. The guarantee period of a can, so the best before period of a can is 1.5 years, while the guarantee period of bee honey is 3.25 years. What is the simplest form of the guarantee period of the can to the guarantee period of bee honey? So the ratio we are looking at is 1.5 to 3.25. All right, let's have a look at that. So again, okay, so this goes to the tenths column, but this actually goes to a hundredths column, which means that if we want to get completely rid of the decimals, we actually need to multiply by 100 this time. So 1.5 times 100 is 150. And 3.25 times 100 is 325. And again, with anything involving fives, it's just easy to start dividing it by 5. So that's 32 divided by 5. That's 5. 300, so 65. So I'm looking at this and I'm going, I think I can actually simplify this further. I can see that I can divide it by 5 again. So 6 to 13. And can I simplify that anymore? Nope, I'm pretty sure you can't actually divide 13 by anything else. So 6 to 13 is the final most simplified version. Okay. And we'll do one more question to finish up. Mike spent $8.50 on his lunch at school and $76.50 on his dinner in a restaurant today. Oh my goodness, he had a really fancy dinner. What's the simplest ratio? So 8.5 or 8.50 to 76.50. All right, so first of all, yes, this is in a hundredths column, but it's 0. It doesn't, you can get rid of that and it means the exact same thing. So let's get rid of that to make it less complicated. So now it's 8.5 to 76.5. And they're in the tenths, so we're going to multiply it by 10. 8.5 times 10 is 85. 76.5. So it's 765. So that is the ratio we're going to simplify. And let's see. 85. So 85 divided by 5 is 17. Is that right? Yes. Because 50 is 10, 17. All right. And then this divided by 5 is 153. Okay, so 17 to 153 is the final ratio. Can I make it any more simplified? I know I can't because 17 is a prime number, so I can't make it any smaller by dividing it by anything else. So the final answer is 17 to 153 is the most simple form of that. Okay, so that is how you can solve ratios or simplify them when there is a decimal. Basically, first thing you're going to do is get rid of the decimals by multiplying it by 10 or by 100 or by 1,000, depending on what the decimal number is. And then you just go ahead and keep dividing by numbers until you can get smaller and smaller. So that is how you solve it. Now remember that you need to complete your worksheet after watching this video, and then you need to create a prove it on Seesaw to show how you solve those questions. Choose one or two of the questions that you found really challenging, and then prove that you can do those questions using the Seesaw app. And make sure that you do get that done before you consider yourself moved on from this WALT. Okay, good job and good luck, and I'll see you next time.